Scarlett, there's only 3 words that the people want to hear from me today, and it's Oryx review, please.
Mate, do you want me to preempt my on the record?
okay. I wanted to catch you out and get into the most mother of all Gav booting off.
Fuck you, Gav.
I had a full boycott of this podcast planned. I was
Right.
like, this prick. I know you've been busy. This prick. He's went another week and not listened to that record. So okay, it sounds like you have listened to it. So you've put me back in my box right off the start.
I have. Amazing. I've been very much enjoying Oryx. Do you want me to describe them to you now to prove it, or do you want me to wait till they're on the record?
I believe you, mate. You think there's a lack of trust in this podcast? I just thought you were like just went away back into your daydream lifestyle and went
Yeah.
try to book bands and forgot about them again. So let's go with We Go Again. How are you, Mister?
I'm okay, mate. I am fucking in the whirlwind of mad job. Too many fucking things to do. Even my brother, who's probably one of the least sympathetic people I know, this morning was giving me some sort of pep talk, being like, just fucking calm down. It's always fine. Just do one job at a time. But it's a fucking crazy job booking. I find it really hard to book 2026 when I'm still finishing off booking 2025, and I've got to do, there's so much detail to do for 2025 still, just like the production, the logistics, the organisation of the festival. Never mind all the things that I like put my sticky paws on that aren't really my fucking job. Like,
Yeah.
I'll give Brendan my opinion on the security plan for trees. I'll be telling people about the wristband, this wristband, that system's not going to work, whatever. There's a lot of shit. There's just so much at this time of year. And it's like, I've already gone beyond the point of even sending people instant messages or emails. I'm now just ringing them going, answer this question now, answer this question now. Or like, what? It's very intense. Like you said to me earlier on, we can record whenever's a bit calmer for you. And I think my response was basically, that's September, so don't fucking worry about it. I've hit the heightened state of like, my brain just clicks into a new fucking thing.
And this is where the podcast lands. I mean, how are you feeling? The first year we done it, I mean, there's a real novelty value to it. I mean, I didn't know myself whether we were going to get through the summer season and for the fields and the terrible internet connections and in the middle of jobs and contractors showing up, and then to a lesser degree, but then myself organising Damnation at the end of October and the start of November, and we managed it. But here we are now, year 2, going through that cycle again. Are you a bit like, this fucking podcast, or with the buzz of last week, so you're like, no, bring it on?
Yeah, no, I am buzzing off. I am buzzing off it, and I am like, bring it on. At the end of the day, we managed to do it last year. We learned a couple of things which I won't be trying to do it in a field again. I will do it in the farmhouse at Trees again this year, which worked fine last year. And there might be a couple of episodes where I'm not as well prepared as normal, but it will be all good. And I'm definitely going to try and prepare for the live ones we do at the festivals this year, because I didn't prepare at all last year, did I? I just left you with it.
Yeah.
I reckon we can sit down on Saturday morning for an hour and just be like, what are we actually going to talk about?
A wee bit of experience now with going out there and having done the tour. I think we'll be a wee bit more comfortable with it. I found I was a bit panic stricken through both of them. I looked pretty calm on stage, I was told, but I was very much scribbled notes in front of me, huge crowds, and let's try and get through this. So I feel good about those. Looking forward to doing both too. So this is not the weekly digest of Kneecap, and there is a few people like, fuck, I don't really know Kneecap or like Kneecap, and I'm not going to Trees, so I don't want to hear about it every single week. But there's no denying or getting away from the fact that last week's podcast was insane. The numbers were double, if not treble, what we've ever done it in any podcast, both through downloads and YouTube. And the feedback was mental. And we just get dragged into it. Whether we tried to have that conversation last week about your position as an organiser booking this band in the middle of this controversy, and then we get dragged by the ankles into you get called a coward for not going on the BBC and no speaking the truth, and I was getting sent videos of Israeli hostages I mean, that's how deep it got in the last week. While all the numbers were going crazy, we also get dragged in both directions. So it was a mad old week. What was the? I mean, I've not spoken to you about it other than the fact that the numbers were going well. How's it been for you?
No, I mean, so I'll answer a question with a question. Before I tell you that, who is sending you? I don't mean what's their name, but who is sending you those videos? Is that
through Instagram? So just so someone who's a bit like who feels that our position, be it, it's not fuck kneecap, they're getting cancelled, is the wrong position to take in this argument. So they're sending us, look how this is affected. Whereas I don't think at any point either of us are saying, you know what's great, people being kept hostage or anyone being killed at all. That is not, we're talking about this as, well, you're talking about this as the promoter of kneecap at the festival, and it wasn't about, we kept out the politics of it. And then that's when you were called a coward. That's the other position, that you guys should have a position and you should just be vocally saying up the resistance and fuck Israel. And like, no, but we're not doing that either. So that's when you're just not going far enough in this direction for some people who are complaining that is, and you're not going far enough in this direction for some people that are also complaining that is, and you're kind of getting at both barrels.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not engaging with anyone. We're not engaging with anyone on it. I've had some pretty threatening and abusive and just bullying messages on fucking Instagram, Facebook, emails. So yeah, it's just something that I'm not engaging with people on. I'm still googling kneecap twice a day just to check that there's nothing new. It does feel like the story's died down. I'd hope that it's moving on to, you know, luckily Donald Trump is reopening fucking Alcatraz, presumably with Sean Connery there to do the business. But
no, we need honestly. When Donald Trump was first in office, the first 4 years, I was obsessed. I started a subscription to the New York Times. I was reading American press from both sides daily. It was just like an experiment, and people's nature, a culture. It was like, here's this man. I mean, forget the fact he's tangerine and he's got a stupid haircut and he's never had any history of politics and experience or his background or the tax avoidance, all that crap. It's like, I couldn't go over that there was someone in a chair or in a position of power who couldn't construct sentences, who can't answer a question, who time after time, if like you say, he just bullied you back and just went, no, nonsense, and just gave you whatever soundbite entered his head at that moment and came out the other side. And I was like, this is insane. I'm just waiting for the world to kind of, even the most ardent Trump fans to go, right, enough's enough. I mean, there's no fucking wall. There's no wall. We just shouted for 4 years about building a wall to put up half a fence. It's like, enough's enough. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. It didn't get better. Why did we let this man in? And then obviously the Democrats get back in for it. So when he get back in this time, I made a promise to myself, I am not going back down the rabbit hole, because it just absorbs large chunks of your day when you're dealing or thinking about the politics of another country, which I hate the influence America has in the whole world anyway. Never mind me sitting day after day, clicking through the list of Donald Trump interviews. But the algorithm's too strong. I've managed the first, I mean, how long's it been in that 100 days? And then in the last 10 maybe, the algorithm just get me. I'm just getting these ones dropped in where he's getting, I mean, it was a conversation, was it yesterday? There was something about the NFL and it was a football like contract thing, and he was just babbling about Alcatraz and shark bites and just like, what's happening? You can see the people standing around him just like nodding, like, why am I? And he's talking to this like franchise owner for an American football club going, Alcatraz is the best, isn't it? And you see the guy just going, why are you asking me this? This is fucking insane.
I mean, it's like the Rock. The Rock. Have you seen the film The Rock with Sean Connery? It's like The Rock 2. It's like, we're going to reopen Alcatraz, but bigger. That's basically his thing. If they're not just reopening Alcatraz, it's going to be bigger. I don't know. Like, you could just see all these startled people around him being like, he's not thought this through. Is this even possible? Say stuff
like, it's a picture of strength. It's a picture of weakness. It's a picture of lots of things. Lots of things. It's a picture. You're like, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Had some interview and the guy goes, so it's the Declaration of Independence. And he goes, love, unity. Like, what are you talking about? Opposite of love and unity. It's a fucking massacre in the British. So it's like, I don't. I'm not here, but the algorithm's got me so far. I'm now talking about Donald Trump on the podcast.
And you weren't satisfied with upsetting the people that are interested in Israel and Palestine. You're going after fucking.
There is no way there's Donald Trump fans listening to this podcast. Not a fucking chance. So, aye.
So,
I mean, as I say,
sorry. In conclusion, on just to put Kneecap to bed for now, unless there's any developments, we're not going to talk about it again on the podcast. I much like with Drag Queen Story Hour, there will be a future where I talk about it some more when people are. When there's less attention on us, and I can just have a bit more of an open conversation about some of the shit that's gone on behind the scenes. That's not now. I think I will inflame the situation by getting further involved in it, but maybe on a future live show or something we can talk about it some more, because I have definitely got more stories to tell.
Yeah, talking about post-event podcasts, I will tell you about a billing of Bollock Part 2 after Damnation, because that's where I am right now. But possibly the most weird, childish one of my 20 years that I'm dealing with at the minute. Can't get it at the moment because obviously the people involved are still involved, but it's just fucking nonsense. It's just that proper, as Cam Hack says, the sort of almost the measuring tape out against the poster. Like, even if logos, the scale of it, you know, like if a band's got a fat logo, like the lettering's fat, and then other bands, I don't know, call it Ackercock, and the lettering's thin. And they go, their logo's bigger than my logo. The logo's the exact same size, scale. Bry is made them the exact same size and scale, but one's thin and one's fat. What do you want to do? Fatten up your logo? Do you want us to put the other logo through Weight Watchers? I mean, what is it you want? It's fucking insane. So, dealing with that at the moment. I'm loath to even say there was supposed to be 5 bands announced, and so it'll be tonight. So when you're listening to that, it would have been last night. I think 3 are going to come out just because I'm getting something out. I'm putting something out because people have been waiting for these bands. So I got to the point that we actually not only had to hold back the poster a couple of days, we've had to remove bands from it while the spat is carried out. So I will chat about that in a bit more depth post November's festival. So it's been a weird one. Not quite as wild as TikTok, James. It's fucking.
How's that been going for you?
It's fucking horrific. So we put out a couple of shots on YouTube because the Kneecap episode had exploded. But we should really be doing a bit more with the tools available to us. And we've always said we should be doing a TikTok. So everything was going so well. The download numbers were going well. The YouTube numbers were going well. And I was like, oh, Jesus, man, time to just bite the bullet and start chucking things at TikTok, because that's probably the platform. People tell you acid baths are big again because of TikTok. So it's not like it's only teenage girls doing dances. Like, there's an audience there for people who listen to acid baths. So, like, with the heaviest of sighs, I ventured to TikTok, put up one of our clips, like, okay, done okay. And then the very first video that was shown to me, the very first video that was given to me by the algorithm, was a mum videoing her child eating his granddad's ashes. So the child covered in the ashes of his granddad and down his top, and the mum spotted him doing it and ran and got her phone and ran through and then started crying, going, "You're eating Dad, you're eating your grandpa." And I'm like, this is what I've been exposed to in the space of 30 seconds. A wee guy is eating his granda in the space of 30 seconds. So I made a video about that, saying how do I switch that section off. Apparently you don't. What you need to do is just train it that you want to hear about, I don't know, the Dillinger Escape Plan or Tangent instead. So I followed a few accounts to try and stop kids eating their granda being presented to me. And then I went to see rival schools and I came back and I was fucking hammered. And I thought, you know what? The people at TikTok need to know about my rival schools review and that my daughter went to Clubland. And I spoke maybe for 2 minutes and I never mentioned the rival schools review or the fact that my daughter went to Clubland. I just aimlessly talk shit in the fucking car.
Is this on the Two Promoters One Pod TikTok?
Because I'm in my head, I'm thinking, well, if it's here, it has to be used for something. So, total nonsense. And then the next day, my daughter played it to me, and I had no idea. I was like, what? What the fuck's that? And she goes, what does boycott TikTok mean? Because the hashtag says boycott TikTok and Manowar. It's like fucking
incredible.
So, I have and then I put up the video that Callum McMillan kindly done us for the Glasgow. So it's there. Whether I have the headspace to try and continue with it, I'll probably put up clips or not, I don't know. But it's there at the minute. I will try to persevere a wee bit. We'll somehow try to get your face on there in some description. It'd be great if we could get Rob slagging you off or something, and then just put some sort of different style of content up there. See if it works. We could give it a few months, and if people really don't care about the TikTok, then I'm more than happy not to care too.
I mean, the remarkable thing about this is you convinced me to start a podcast because me and you were not TikTokable and we weren't going to do TikToks. And a year later, you start a TikTok without telling me, and then go out and get smashed and decide you are a TikToker and start fucking doing a piece to camera. Okay, lovely. That's incredible.
That's that. But I want to mention rival schools as well. Saturday night, was it Saturday night, Sunday night, whatever night I was pissed and done that TikTok. Unbelievable. I thought I was going to see United by Fate, the album, because when I saw the picture, it looked like they were doing the album in full. Turns out that wasn't the case, but it's fine. They started with Ring It Out, which is our best track from Pedals, and then they finished with like Use for Glue, and then Undercovers on the song my daughter was born to. So absolutely incredible night. Love that band. They sounded amazing. Absolutely packed St Luke's. So well worth tickets if that's what they managed to do up and down the UK. Love the band. I would have loved to have got some vinyl and t-shirts, but the fucking merch queue was like an hour long at the end of it as well, so I might try and get that. Hopefully ISO merch has it stocked at some point and I can get a wee vinyl for that. So aye, that's what I was up to. That's a bit of my weekly waffle. Devil Soul de Soul, Ed Gibb was in Bristol. They did get in touch. Going to send us some. Did I tell you this already? He's going to send you and me some vinyls. Again, I don't know why you I don't know why you're getting the repressings of the first two records are getting sent to you as well. So
because the whole thing was my idea. You're going to give me credit for them playing Damnation because it was me that said, Ed, this is the email you got to send to Gav.
Right, well, you done more than that one than you did for your Dragged Into Sunlight box set. That's for sure. So aye, I mean, Ed's got in touch and says he would love to be able to do something at Damnation. The problem I've got at the minute is the slot.
Have I just told everyone a private conversation? Sorry, that wasn't intentional.
I know, but no, it's not. But as we sit here right now, it's not confirmed. I mean, it's literally Ed said to me they'd love to play, and I said let's see what we can make happen. I don't really have a slot, so I'm trying to orchestrate something that could still work. So
got myself all nervous then.
It may well be that the drummer's his wife's birthday, or I mean, it could be a million reasons. So that was just a conversation, private conversation between me, Ed, and you, and now you and the rest of the listenership. So thanks for that, James.
Yeah, pleasure.
And that's me. Final thing I just want to happen just before we came on here. Outbreak tried a logo poster.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Something a bit different, and in the way they do it, that sort of 1990s Photoshop aesthetic. You know what I mean, like kids at high school, kind of that way that it's done. Everything's kind of retro. Look, I mean, it looks good for the way that they do things. And
you hate it, don't you?
It's not my favourite. I don't really like much of that aesthetic anyway. But I'm sure they look at Damnation and go, we don't like any of that goth aesthetic. So I'm not like ours is right at that, but that works for them. And they put God's hate. So like they're an A to Z type of. They're the archetype A to Z type of poster. Probably gets them at a million Bolly Cabin conversations. And then they've tried to have a bit of fun, make this poster. The poster looked great, but God's hate were in the middle. And I'm always going, well, bands, promoters, they don't give a shit. But God's hate, like, as it just does, as a logo comically small when you see it in the middle. It is absolutely fucking tiny in there. So there you go, Outbreak are now welcome to the conversation about Bolly Cabin. That might be the last time you ever see a logo poster for you guys.
Yeah, I did laugh about that. It's like they've gone for like a patch jacket or something, maybe. I don't know. It's an interesting take on the poster. I mean, and we're all fucking bored of posters. Talking of posters, there's an ATG logo poster coming for you, Gav. I just sent to you. We did it for you, mate. We did it for you. It's coming probably today, I think. So by the time
I want that. I want that credited at the bottom. Tell your socials.
Okay, we'll get you a little. Well, it's two promoters, one pod's already on there, mate. You want to be on there twice?
Yeah, I think the two promoters, one pod that missed out in its logo, did it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it did.
Right, we'll talk about that off camera.
Actually, I've got something. I've forgotten about this. I've got something big to tell you. Here's a podcast exclusive. So you know when we talk about the Clash Finder, I say I'm never going to make a change based on people complaining.
Mate, this has to be
Drum roll.
us.
Drum roll. No, it's fuck. It's not us and fucking employed to serve, mate. Get over it. Move on. You've seen them. He's gone. He's gone. He's back. Birds in Row versus Let Live is no longer a clash. There you go. Because I haven't told my team I'm going to tell you about this, but Pest Control dropped out, which is a shame, but that has given me some leeway to change the clash finder. So I'm booking a new act the new act will be clashing with Let Live. Birds in Row are now a slot earlier and not clashing with Let Live. Isn't everyone happy about that?
Well, the answer will be no, because I've tried this before and it's like you've just fucked up my crime because Birds in Row and whatever band that was before now were my two favourites, and so by all means have a bash.
I think Pest Control were on your list to watch actually, but they're they've had to pull out, unfortunately.
Okay, and the bands you book, are you going to deliberately make them not hardcore?
Yes, but I don't know. I'm not. You can think you haven't got a clash and be wrong sometimes. So at the end of the day, that band weren't playing. Don't fucking come at me if you don't want them to clash with Let Live, because they are.
What was the other thing? Because someone was having a go at you like you were some sort of crazy person, thinking that Imminence and Alexis on Fire didn't share the same fan base. I mean, like, quite adamant that no, of course they do. And I'm like, I don't know if that's that so strongly. Okay, they're slightly heavier bands for a Trees audience, but I want to say that you go to, if I go to Eminence right now, do you think on Spotify you think it's saying for fans of Alexis on Fire underneath it? I doubt it.
Well, it isn't, because I've checked. I don't know. That one's not changing, so that is a fucking thing.
So what's happened with your week otherwise?
Well, just fucking, I mean, I've had a few confirmations in for Arctangent 2026, which is good. And then just a bunch of production chats. I mean, like I said at the start, I'm just like, I'm bouncing from job to job to job. So it's all a bit fucking mad. But it's May. So it's not long and we start going on site and shit gets very real for the whole summer really for us. So yeah, just lots, but it's okay. It's all going to be fine. It's all going to be fine.
It's all going to be fine. It'll be fine, as they say. This episode, following those couple of wild kneecap ones, is going to be more of the informative, geeky one. We are going to access the spreadsheets and tell you all about exactly what was made and lost on tour. All the expenses, all the fees, who we had to pay, who paid us, and ultimately what we came out the other side of it with. So, hope that's of interest to everyone. Before that, we have our super subs, and we've got two to catch up on. So, James, give us John Gandy.
Yeah, so John says, Gav, you said do your worst. So here goes. I had 3 ideas and couldn't decide where to go, so I'm going to be cheeky and ask for them all. Yes, you are, John. First, it would be incredible if you could give a shout out on the podcast to my friend's band, Anhaga. It's a one-man project, which I think fans of Wardruna and Hylung would really like. The best introduction is the song A Piece of the Sky. Okay, everyone go and listen to Anhaga, Anhaga. Secondly, John would like to avoid the scramble of a Damnation Forum pass, so could he ask for one in advance? I don't think he's asking for freebie, he just wants pre-access. Can you do that?
Yes, I mean, we don't actually discuss the forum pass outside the forum because it's only available to people on there. So well done, John, for breaking that that embargo. But yes, you can have access to it first. Just come to me directly and we'll sort out some sort of payment.
And third, he'd love to buy us both a pint at Arctangent and or Damnation this year. No requirement to hang around and chat. Just wanted to say thanks to you both for introducing me to some of my favourite bands and organising my two favourite festivals, which have both brought me a lot of happy moments over the years. Well, look, Gav always jokes that people say, I'm going to buy a pint, I'm going to buy a pint. And when you get to the events, you spend all your time buying other people drinks. Gav likes cider and I like IPA. So don't ask us if we want a drink. You can buy us a drink, just bring me a drink. If you see me, I'll be very happy to say hi and drink your drink.
And very happy to chat too, John. I mean, by all means, you can listen to us to talk shite in person.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very easy to find at Arctangent. Less hard at Damnation because Gav likes to hang out on his special swanky balcony.
I think when we see the photographic evidence, there's plenty of pictures of just you standing ominously over the crowd in that balcony with no one else there, James. So let's calm down that chat.
Yeah, fair
3
play.
for 3 there, John. Hope that was worth your subscription. Luke Humphrey, who was picked last week, very simple to the point. Could I get a track added to the playlist? Cloud Kicker. What they do is not art. Now, I meant to listen to that last night because I wanted to give an opinion on it. I fucking get caught up with everything else. So I will check out. James will add Cloud Kicker to the on the record.
Yeah.
And also, my wife is making her first battle jacket. Do you have any patches from either festivals I can add to it? Yes, I will send you. In fact, you've sent me your address already. I will send you a Damnation patch and a Two Promoters One Pod patch, which is actually called Two Promoters One Patch because we're clever like that. So, yes, no worries at all. That is the kind of generosity that we like to show our subscribers. If you would like to be shown the same level of generosity, get involved with our Patreon. Things have been going great on there. We would love that to continue. You'll hear very soon how expensive it is to keep up with James's eating habits on tour. We are planning a Christmas show. That will be expensive. We would like to have James eating posh pizza again.
We would.
So, do you know why I recognise that? Rob Tones, right? So Rob Tones, the reason we've spoken about this guy before is because his wife got in touch when it was his 50th or 60th. I'm going to say 50th, Rob, just to get that the right way around. And we gave him a shout out then. But he is a subscriber and has been since day one. So Rob Tones, I believe his name's Rob Gange. So hit us up, big man. I'm sure you've got a fantastic request for us, and we will get to that for next week. Anyone else wants to get involved in that? Patreon.com/Two Promoters One Pod.
Yes.
The profits and losses of touring, James. Before we get into all the numbers, when you looked at them, was there anything jump out, surprise you? What did you think?
No, I mean, I think broadly speaking, I think it was as I expected it to look. I think we didn't try and skimp when we were away, did we? We could have. I've been on tour with bands where they get their 10 quid per diem and they fucking buy some hummus and some pita bread and they fucking put the other 8 quid in their pocket and they live off that. And that was not our life. So I was expecting to be a bit horrified by some of the food costs, and I was.
Also, as we'll get to, of the whole tour, the 7 dates, there was twice that dinner was bought for us, which was part of our rider, and the other 5 times, not any fault of the promoter, we went and had dinner before we even showed up at the show, so there was no dinner, we never requested dinner, so I'm not the best financial management, and also our tour manager, Mr. Tom Begley, we treated like the third member of the band like Green Day. So when he was, whatever we spent on him too. It all started to add up pretty quickly, but wouldn't change it for the world. We had some good times.
Yeah, and he loves a nice meal, doesn't he? So his first thing every day is he's working out where you're going to eat. So
he does love it.
As soon as we started, you could basically see the money disappearing. So yeah.
Okay, so right, so most folk will know that we went on tour 7 dates in March. If you only came to us now, if you've came through the kneecap journey of the last 7 days, you might not have known. But we went out and we done Bristol, Birmingham, Gloucester, London. We had a 4-day break, and then we'd done Glasgow, Manchester, and Leeds. Tail end of March. Our total ticket sales for all those shows was just under 1,100, which when I actually saw it tallied up, I was like, that's fucking great. I mean, I knew in your head it would be that if you were getting like 180 or 200 people per show, you would be getting it. But 1,100 tickets for this podcast sold, I thought it was fucking incredible.
Well, yeah, look, no podcasts like ours tour, do they? So there is zero precedent. And the only people you can compare it to is like these fucking arena tours where they're like mega stars, at the very least playing the fucking Hippodrome in Bristol or whatever. And yeah, so we have no precedent. I feel like we did. I don't want to big us up too high, but we did something that no one else was doing of our level of podcast, and without knowing whether anyone would come, and they did.
So thank you very much to all 1100 days that showed out. We sold out 3 shows: Manchester, Birmingham and Bristol. Thank you to those cities. And Glasgow almost. Glasgow was a 200 cap, almost got there, so well chuffed, because I'll be honest, I was shitting myself about Glasgow. We don't have the best reputation for supporting our own. We can be a bit of, who does this prick think he is? And I know, because I think the same way. Usually we've got very self-depreciating style. We don't get behind our own, be it a football player or a comedian or whoever. So I was delighted to see so many people turn out. Glasgow was fucking amazing. 5 of the promoters made the 80-20 split. If you don't know what 80-20 split is, go back.
Fucking go and find another podcast, you prick.
go back and start listening again, and you'll find out what 80-20 split is. 2 made marginal losses. However, there's a lot to be said about the way that these settlements are done. There is money to get back in. If you're a promoter and you've got some ticketing deal with the agency you use, you'll likely get some sort of kickback. So as long as they've got their deal set up properly with their ticketing agencies, they're probably just a bit broken even. So great to see that no one really lost money, and a few promoters made a few quid in it. There's something that we were talking about before this as well. When you're doing this, you're paying, when your settlement sheet comes through, and I've got them all printed out in front of me, you're paying towards their marketing budget, which will be an annual fee that they pay for mail-outs. You're paying towards their insurance, public liability insurance. That probably won't be done show by show. That's more likely an annual fee. You're paying the money for their sound man, their cashier, their website costs. You're paying a small... So even if a promoter comes back to you and says, look, I never made anything on the show, you're paying into their infrastructure for their year to be a live promoter. I mean, as someone who is a local live promoter, that's right, isn't it, James?
Yeah, so I think it's worth it just to, I mean, I'm going to try not to go back to versus deal, but just reminding people that you have to calculate what the profit from the show was, and the income on that will be the tickets. And then all the costs are food and venue hire and PRS and marketing and all these other things. And that is the only way you can even do this calculation over a versus deal. So the promoter will put, what Gav is saying is that the promoter will put a marketing cost in the show costs, which will be like, it might be, there's like a listings poster that is a Bristol listings, and it goes up all over Bristol, and it's got multiple different shows on it, and you have to pay a certain amount per month to put your shows in it, and you will charge a little bit to each band that comes through, to each artist that comes through. So it might be that in some ways those costs that the artist is paying you for the show are paying for one of your staff a little bit, or some of your insurance, or there's lots of little bits of money that a promoter can recoup through the show costings that we can't really audit or check on. It's quite hard to check on some of those costs. If they say we spent 30 quid on Facebook ads, you can say, well, show me the ads, show me the evidence. But if it's like an email flyer, that goes out across Bristol or across Manchester, it's quite hard to check those.
And to be fair, I have no issue with them. All promoters that we used, I was very happy. Got all the settlements in front of me. Don't feel like we were ripped off or anywhere. You never had like in-house promoters like putting a barrier up and then saying, oh, the barrier that they own is now being rented to you for an extra £200. You weren't getting charged for reps that weren't there. There was nothing. I never felt at any point. There was one charge on one of the shows where the promoter kind of put his own promoting fee in, which was kind of like, mate, that's the job. You can't say I'll book the show now and say I'm going to give myself a wee £200 fee for promoting it. The fee you get is if it sells it, you get to keep 20%. So that was a wee bit, I don't know, either inexperienced or cheeky. But otherwise, it was all pretty much above board. And I like the fact that when you go out, you are keeping a show rep and money that week. You are keeping a mailing list page. You're keeping a website going. So it was great when you see these settlements. Like, okay, you're paying your share of all the stuff that's on here that you could be a bit like, oh, well, do we need to be part of the mailing list? That show was sold out. Like just pay your 25 or 30 quid towards it, like every other show that's going through it, and don't make a big deal about the small stuff, because fucking we hate when people do that to us.
Yeah, and look, I can't resist, Gav. I feel like people are going to be confused. I cannot resist. So what you've got to separate in your head, everyone, is there's 2 types of cost. One is a show cost, as in it's relevant to the actual show, and the band, us, will get paid 80% of the profit. And that's why we care about how much the marketing spend was, or how much the PRS spend or the rider spend, because that is directly affecting what we get paid at the end, because we get 80% of the profit. There are loads of other costs that we're going to come on to, which are just our costs, and they're nothing to do with the promoter. So we get the money from any given show and the merchandise, and then we've got other things on top to spend, like van hire, as an example.
Yes. Eating out with that venue, the hotels, if they're not in the deal. So you get a situation where we might get £1,000 fee, but no hotels in the deal, and then you get another one that's a £700 fee, but with hotels. That deal's by and large the same deal. I mean, by the time we have to go and buy the hotels, we're back up to that $1,000. So, what James saying, keep these in mind, that these settlements and the money we got from them are very different from what I'm going to talk through, which is all our choice or our responsibility, but whatever way you want to look at it. So we paid that towards each show. So basically what I'm saying is 5 shows made money, even to the Leeds one. I think the guy for Leeds made himself a £5 or something, but never lost money. 2 lost small amounts, but probably be able to cover themselves, and they probably don't look back in the show and say, I wish I never done that, because staff were paid and mailing lists were kept on top of it, etc, etc. The highest show fee we received, well, we're 80%, because no guarantee was as high as this, was £1,226.52, and that was the opening night in Bristol. So what a way to start. Bristol really turned out for us.
Well done, Miles.
Well done, Miles. So for those who don't know, that's James's partner in promoting, and the total for all fees paid to our agency before they took their 10% in VAT was, we had £5,845 is what was paid to our agency. 2 things I learned having done this for the first time, and I don't know if you knew about this already, was the agency take 10% of the entire settlement fee. So I'm thinking if we get paid £1,000, the agency are guaranteed 100, but they're not. If you take 1,200, they are guaranteed 120 plus VAT. Now we're no VAT registered, so we just lose that. So of the £5,845 they took, the agency took 10% plus VAT, which left us
5,411.
I've actually put that wrong now because that wouldn't have made sense. It's 5,144. So not 10%, we said 10% plus the VAT on top. Did you know that the agency was going to take from the settlement the final figure rather than the guarantee? And did you even think about the VAT?
I knew that they would take out of the whatever our take home was. I knew that's what they'd take their 10% on. Yeah, I didn't know. Well, I used to be an accountant. I do know that VAT would be chargeable, but it hadn't really occurred to me about that. And this is the thing that businesses of our size get into, is like, at what point should you VAT register? Because you can voluntarily register for VAT, and then we would have got that money back, but we'd also have owed a chunk. So yeah, VAT is a funny fucker.
Yeah, and again, much like these settlements, because we're telling you about it, that's not a complaint. That's absolutely fine. 10% was up front and from the start. That's just the industry standard. The VAT, obviously, they're a VAT company, but you just don't know until you know, and that's exactly where it was and why I'm telling you that. So happy enough with that. Then, so to recap, we have £5,144. That's what we've been paid to go on that tour. Our costs. Now, I asked for permission for Tom Begley to tell you this, because he came out with us at a vastly reduced rate that would normally charge bands. He saw it as a bit of it was professional every single day. We're delighted with him. Next time we go out, he will be with us again. But he also saw it as a bit of a jolly with 2 mates, that he was wanting to come out and have fun. Yeah. He wasn't going to South America with some band he doesn't like and being run ragged. He was going to local cities with 2 pals and having a jolly, as well as being very professional at his job. And guy, the man slings merch like you've never seen. So we'll come to that. Thank you, Tom. He charged us £700 for coming out. 165 quid van hire. We saved money the second leg because I took the car instead. 223 quid in fuel. That's what happens when you take out an X5 with you. £106 in parking, £237 in trains, £229 in flights. James's flight was £39 and then he paid £50 to put a bag on it. It cost more money to take your bag than it did as you as a human.
Yeah, I can't quite remember what, because I wasn't going to do that, and then at the last minute, I think it was because I was carrying a bunch of.
You had the camera as well.
Yeah, and they're pretty. They've changed the airport measuring thing, haven't they? They do measure your bags now. You told me they'll measure your bag, and they did.
And they do.
So yeah, and also, I mean, one fucking learning thing I've learned is that my flights were way cheaper, and we didn't book our flights till quite late, did we? And mine have gone up loads, which is just like. It's amateur hour. I mean, I've been on enough fucking holidays to know get your flights booked.
We spent £135 in shiny AAAs. That was partly me, partly Tom. I wanted the holographic ones. I wanted them. Now, we could have used paper wristbands. We could have got them for a £5. Largely, in a podcast tour, no one's giving a shit if you've got a AAA or not. No one's really checked. There's no like the venues were full of security or anyone was trying to get backstage to meet us. So we could have went without it. First tour I've ever done, I wanted a holographic AAA. They look spectacular, and I wanted one like that. So, willing to swallow the money for that.
Agreed.
Taxis, £226. That's when you don't have a driver and you've got two drunks who are on stage. Taxis everywhere.
Yeah, it's tricky that, isn't it? Because I don't know. There's an element of you basically. You've got to get home, haven't you? You've got to get to the hotel. So. Yeah, if no one's driving, then fucking we should factor that in next time though, because £226 is £226, isn't it?
It's not nothing. Another thing, I mean, it's a real learning curve. I mean, you have never done postage. I don't think you've ever delivered something in your life. You are acting like delivering parcels was tougher than organising 2,000 trees at some points. No. And you could see with the money you'd spent, because I was managing to send the parcels for like $14.99 and you were sending them back for like $60. So I have no idea. You just went to whatever the premium rate, easiest button to press, and you managed to get us to a total of £270 postage and packaging. That was us sending the merch backwards and forwards to each other.
Wait, I'm not fucking having this. Hang on. This can't. I use Parcel Force, which is the Royal Mail. So it's not like I went to some swanky fucking. I want to compare these costs, but as I have no information in front of me, I can't do it.
Mate, you went mental. I've never seen postage costs like it. You when you were sending back up, you were clearly hungover, and there was no job you wanted to do less than send these parcels to Glasgow. And you went, mate, whatever your gold service is, get that sent. Parcel Force $49.40, Parcel Force $29.85, Parcel Force $16.90. I mean, Jesus Christ!
If you remembered the fact that because I was the first leg of the tour, we had way more boxes. You didn't have to post the on the record board. I had to post the on the record board. You didn't have to post all the merch. You had to post a little bit of the merch. I had all the fucking merch. So, right, good. I'm glad I thought of that.
So, there. Postage and packaging, £270. Amazon, this is all the nonsense. Binders, pens for the bingo cards. The on the record board, the stand that we got pretty much last minute, 113. We bought one memory stick because we didn't realise how much gigabyte the fucking videos were going to be. For £34, it was too small. Then we went back to Argos and bought a bigger one, a hard drive, for that. Between that and a ring light, it was a tenner. For the Manchester show was £90. We went to get a suitcase at Sports Direct for £20. Hotels in Bristol and Gloucester, the two venues we thought we were going, didn't need hotels for Glasgow, Bristol and Gloucester, because Glasgow being my house, Bristol, I don't know what we were thinking about Gloucester, Bristol being yours, Gloucester I thought you were going to put, like an auntie was going to put us up, but we had to buy hotels for those ones, £320, hotel for Brian the final night when he came in, £65, early check-in in Birmingham because I was a tired old sausage and needed to go for a nap, £20. Then, my God, James, a food bill from all the places we went. Crazy Pedro's in Manchester, Paisano in Glasgow, Tackles, Chrissy's Cafe with the Builders tea and coffee that you were fucking absolutely... No. This Whom in Birmingham, £144 for 3 curries.
This is the fucking annoying thing about Begley, right? On the one hand, he wants to go cheap and shit with the Birmingham Cafe. And I'm like, no, let's go for a fucking swanky breakfast with a proper coffee. And then on the other hand, he wants to go for a nice swanky curry when Birmingham is full of salt of the earth fucking curry houses you don't need to spend loads of money on. I think we got it the wrong way around. I think we should have gone swanky breakfast, cheap
We
curry.
we end up, we goes to the Brood Ale. This is the weirdest one of all the vendors, all the food ones I said, oh, that makes sense. We really need to be much better that when we're on tour and the promoter's going to buy his food, maybe take him up on that offer and less of just go out ourselves before that show and spend as much as we spent. But then we got to Brood Ale for some reason where we got food and we had drinks and we spent 80 quid in drinks. Because we were in the beer garden and we didn't want to walk the whole 6 feet to our dressing room.
I just cannot for the life of me remember why the fuck that was. We've got beer with us, we've got cider with us. Is it because we were drinking in their garden and we thought, I don't fucking know. But yeah, we were buying beer for absolutely no reason there, so that was stupid.
So, the total of ours, by our own choice, going and getting these sort of meals, tackles, 118 quid. Our full food bill was 807 quid for us to go out and have dinners. And then, on top of that, James, as it happens, has got an addiction for coffee. And every 2 minutes when you look around, James is away into some other Pret a Manger or whatever it is, trying to find the coffee.
I don't fucking go and prep for a coffee, mate. I'm fucking... not there's the
most hipster bank charge ever in London. It was a record store where you went to get coffee.
Mate. So
Who the fuck was the record store for coffee?
That place is actually next door to Bush Hall, and that was the final morning where I felt sorry for myself on that last morning because I had to go on my own to pick the van up and drive it home, and it's not nice driving home in a van from London on your own.
No.
So I was like, I'm going to have a fucking coffee and a croissant, mate, in a record store.
Not all James's cost, but pretty much, let's call 90% of them. £223 on coffees and croissants for James. Our total costs for going on tour were £4,143. So, money we received, 5,144. Cost we chose to pay, 4,143. Left us a grand total profit of the entire tour of £1,001. 550 pence each. I worked out after tax, £400 each is what we made from the tour. Good with that?
God.
you get some sort of line of defence. Yeah. What? Tell me.
I was about to jibe you on your tax rate, but I decided not to. I've seen your house, but calculating 20% tax. Yeah, I mean, well, there's a big thing you've left out there, isn't there?
The merch.
The merch. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's two. Because that's at the start. I had all the cost for the merch stuff. That we constructed those deals and the sponsorship and the extra things we done right. So we're just going out. We have nothing behind us in the sense of a merchandise company, sponsors, all that jazz. We went out, stood on a stage, sold tickets, ate well, travelled well, slept in hotels, and we made £1,001. So that's what we got. The other version of those stats is with merchandise. Now, what we done was...
I mean, before you say that, I think there's an element of like I would align it to the festival for me in that the ticket sales pay to get it done, and then you make your money in the bar and the merchandise and the food and the glamping and stuff, and that's how you make your money on top. And it's a bit like this: the sort of fees cover the costs, broadly speaking, with a little bit left over, and then the merch is where you can make it. And we're lucky because we're making, well, I don't want to jump ahead of what you're about to say, but we're making way more per head than most bands do. I'm not comparing us to Sleep Token, but I'm comparing us to the bands that play venues our size don't make as much in merch as we did.
Yeah, so Tom Begley is the Mr. Merch seller. But, he came off a tour with Papa Roach to start with us, and he says the industry standards you aim for £7 per head. So calculate the amount of people you're going to have in your venue, £7 per head. Now walks out there. No, everybody walks up and spends £7. It's like 3 or 4 people buy nothing, and then someone goes up and spends £21 or £30. So that's how it worked out. By the time it was done, Tom thought we were closer to about £9 per head for our merch, which he was really chuffed at, and so were we. And that didn't even include the Lose Brews stall. That had nothing to do with us in terms of we took no cut from that. So the people who came to the shows every single night were unbelievably generous, and we will get into how generous they are right now.
And when you say it's on average £7 a head and we did 9, I would just, now Tom is much more experienced than me, but I would dispute the £7 figure. When I used to, I did like a straw poll of this years ago because I was talking to some students and it was £2 a head. So for merch, like if you play a 400 cap venue, you'll get about 800 of income. So I think 7 is punchy, and let's face it, Tom's got experience with Boss.
You may actually maybe
Boss who are great at merch, Converge who are great at merch, Papa Roach who are great at merch. So his experiences come with bands that are really good at merch, and I actually think if you average it, it's going to be way less than 7. But I'm guessing.
And you know what? I don't want Tom screaming at his radio. Just
I
saying,
do.
All right, okay, fuck, I'm actually no bothered about Tom screaming at his thing at all. I just don't want to say something that's not true. That he might have said to me, I think we should aim for £7 per merch, and actually the average is 5 or 4 or 6. So maybe I've misheard what he says. He says we're aiming for 7. That'd be a good result, and we've ended with 9. So you might be completely right. Maybe seven's pretty high. So I went to Pins and Knuckles and Lose Brews. I went to Lose Brews and I said, would you be willing to give us a lump sum to sponsor the tour, get your branding on all the tour, on the merch, the rest of it, this t-shirt, and also have a stall every single night. And we will use some of that money that we can then use to help pay for us and help pay something towards Tom, who will sell the Lose Brews from as well. Like everything, Lose Brews it looks just a fucking big picture guy. I mean, he's got a weird marketing strategy, and he does like the weirder aspects of life, but it's just a big picture. He just sees opportunities and goes, most people are like, oh, and then start penny pinching it. He was like, okay, let's see what we can do. I believe he done very well until he sold out every single sauce for the first leg and then had to restock and then sold out every single sauce again. So I think the punt was well worth it for him. For us, we get an influx of cash. I haven't asked his permission if I could say exactly how much that was, so I won't. But we'll just put it into everything else that's here. Pins and Knuckles, a merch company that I have nothing but great things to say. They sent us our banner we used at Trees and Art Tangent last year for free, just as a support the pod guys, love it, on you go. Everything that they've ever done with me, they've just been absolute professionals, gems, and they're just so invested in the music business as well. It always comes with a smile and with the same sort of enthusiasm as you and I have got, rather than being a bit more jaded or business-like with it. So I said to them, listen guys, they don't do deals where they offer cash. It's always some sort of subsidy with the merch or merch for free, and they greatly reduced. I mean, the amount of stock that we went out with. We had beanies, hats, tote bags, different types of t-shirts, long sleeved. We had so much. We were going out like we were a fucking fully functioning band rather than 2 guys doing their first tour. That was all through Pins and Knuckles. They done that entire merch hole for us for £2,796, which includes the VAT, which if we were VAT registered, we would get a chunk of that back. So we went out at Leeds. Now we'll start with the first. Bristol, we've done 1,200. Birmingham, 900. Gloucester, 900. London, the highest sales of the entire tour, £1,630 in London. Thank you. I mean, they guys, fucking, it's alright about living in London when everybody's in £1 million flat. You don't mind getting it, spending a bit of merch. 1,600 in London, 1,100 in Glasgow, 1,300 in Mank, and then Leeds is 700. But Tom said at that point, no more of the machine head, the best seller basically, and anything but large and extra large and triple XLs, and some of the other sizes and stuff. No towels left. So Leeds and Mank really were a wee bit, didn't have the same range and sizes availability that everybody else done. Then James, off his own back, organised his 2 university talks, £400 per pop. I don't know if when we done the tour, if we ever talked about how they went out or not. if you went to the tour, you will have heard how they've gone. One of them quite comical. So, costs with the merch and all the extras, the loose brews, the subsidy. The costs for the whole tour were let's call it 7,000. The income taken with all the extras was 13,700, leaving us a total profit of 6,844, £3,422 each. And after tax, still 20% bracket for you, James, 2,738, which is very, very healthy, and I'm very grateful for all the support that people come out and paying that money, because we went from 400 quid each after tax to almost three grand with the merch, the sponsorship, and the university talks.
Yeah, and I think for me, the conclusion is it gives us a great platform if we want to build on it. If we want to do, there's some cities where we're clearly worth a lot more tickets in than we actually sold, like Manchester, where we can grow things. Gives us an opportunity to go to other places, and we've got a better idea now. Because let's face it, we've winged that a little bit, and we've learnt as we've gone, and you know the postage costs and the van hire costs and the flights and eating fucking amazing tacos for 150 quid in Gloucester. You got to kind of like work out next time. Well, what can we learn from that, and like how can we press the promoters more on the buyout end of the food, and like how we got ourselves in the right mess on food really, because we don't eat at the same times. Like I don't think any of us really wanted to eat when we were nervous, so that's 2 hours before the show, no eating. You didn't really want to eat after the show, and you didn't. Well, I didn't want to go out for food after the show. I wanted a quick pizza. Breakfast is weird. You don't eat in the morning. In fact, I just fucking like eating more than you. Which when you look at us, you can probably tell. So that's one end of it that needs some consideration next time. I think the uni talks is another one, because it makes the day very fucking busy, doesn't it? And actually the Bristol uni talk we didn't travel that day. So we woke up in Bristol, did a uni talk and then the show. To travel and do a uni talk and a show would be a lot, wouldn't it? We'd have to be
It would be a lot.
You'd have to be up early. It's like it seems on the face of it like it's a very simple show, the podcast, but there's a bunch of stuff goes on in the day, loading in, setting up all the merch, setting up the stage, working out what we're going to talk about and what the exact plan is. Me and you need at least an hour just on our own to just chat through what we're going to do that night, don't we? And the time just fucking flies by. And you've got to eat, and everyone needs to go to the toilet at a fucking different time, and like piss breaks on the motorway, and
your day gets swallowed up. But we had that planned out, that naive, let's go visit the Sabbath Bridge and then we'll get a picture outside Old Trafford. It's not like we went to him and said, we don't want to do those things anymore. It was like, where the fuck's the day went? It was like, no, where are we parking the van? And where do we get there? And how do you pay it? Oh, it's City Park's app. Right, you drive to there. I'm going to get this door open. The venue's not open yet. Right, okay, what we're going to do? The next thing you know, as you say, not one of those shows was like the other.
No.
There was a couple of stories overlapped. The rest of it, every single show was completely different. I hadn't anticipated being quite so different. So then we were sitting down each day going, what are we doing tonight? What are we adding in that we've just done for the previous night? What the experience of what we've done? What questions have we tried to avoid? What ones have we tried to point people towards? Because we didn't know that, the festival theft story was okay. But we never knew it was the James's worst day in the farm was definitely 10 times better. You only know that after you've done it once and you see the crowd's reaction. So there was bits of that we were trying to work out on the fly as well. And it just takes up huge chunks of your day.
Yeah. And even like when a story doesn't go well the night before, it's like, why didn't that go as well as... It went really well in Bristol and then it didn't go as well in wherever else. Why was that? And not just like trying to talk through how we can make it as good as possible every night. So yeah, it's a full day, isn't it? And also, I'm really annoyed that we didn't do any touristy stuff. But you know, when we woke up in Manchester after a massive fucking night, and you got to go to Leeds, and it's like, well, we could go to Old Trafford on the way, and it's like fucking everyone's fucking fucked and sad.
See that early check-in that I paid in Bristol at £20. If I had no hotel in Leeds because I was going straight back up the road as soon as it finished, I would have paid £100 for a bed for 1 hour. In Leeds, I was so badly broken, sleep deprived. I was just in a bad spot. So, no, I did not want to visit Old Trafford anyway outside of Manchester. I wanted to find a floor and I wanted to lie in it.
Next time we're going to the museum.
Next time we go to the museum. In terms of the merch, now the merchandise flew. It's all back up on sale on our merch store, the Nomad merch store. That you can get to it through the link tree. Easily, by far and away, the most popular item was the machine, the Aesthetics of Fate, the bit of fun with the blackening album cover, and if you see it, but it was just Brad done so well. It changed the mirror, the text, the mirror to "Hear Me Now, Words I Vow, We Will Go Again," and it was Aesthetics of Fate. It was great. They sold out. Turns out we have very fit and fitness conscious listeners. No one is overweight, and also all the smalls, mediums, large sold out of everything pretty much quickly, and then the XLs and upwards stayed, which is the exact opposite of a damnation crowd, where all the XLs and triple XLs go, and you can come back with all the smalls. So another learning curve on that for us and Tom, now that he knows a wee bit more about our audience. The least successful item of merchandise was the one I'm wearing, which I really couldn't believe, because this is what I watched Bry design this from scratch. This wasn't like he just took a Cully Wally picture, but he looked at a Cully Wally picture, then redesigned it with 2 promoters, 1 pod, we go again, the wee lose bruise nod because it was his joke, amazing in the top corner. And I was like, we put out we go again t-shirts and they all sold out, and then we done tin t-shirts, the most ridiculously over the top carton, and they all sold out, and then he put out the Cully Wally one and they didn't sell. And I was like, this is a fucking great t-shirt. I mean, this cutting about trees or art tangent in the summer, nice different style wear, like a bit of fun, and I don't know, people's sense of humour just stopped on tour, I think. They had too many laughs at everything else, so I don't know, what's wrong with this t-shirt? Go and get yourselves a Cully Wally 2 promoters 1 pod one.
Do it. It's for a certain certain type of person is going to pull that off. It's the Tintin t-shirts were basically just band merch t-shirts with a different thing on, weren't they? Whereas this is like something different. So fucking buy one, please.
Fucking buy one. I know, because everything else, the beanies sold well. The posters did. We kept the posters at £5. Pins and knuckles were great to give us them for free. Kept them at £5 rather than being greedy with them. But it's one of those things. Maybe it just people aren't that excited about getting a poster for a podcast tour. So we sold a few, well worth having, but definitely got a chunk of them somewhere as well. So they're not the easiest thing to send out because you need tubes for them, but we'll maybe sort those out for people. So I don't think there's much else to add to that. That is all the cost. I mean, literally every single cost. It took me a full day going through three months worth of bank statements to get all those costs together. Everything we took in from every last angle. You feel that was covered comprehensively?
Yeah, I think one sort of concluding point that I would have from it is you can see why it's so hard for bands, because firstly, on average across the tour, we sold like 80-90% of the tickets for the tour, which is not normal for a first tour for artists. No fucking chance they're getting anywhere near that usually. Also, we're a smaller group, so the hotel costs are lower, the food costs are lower, the size of the van need is lower, we don't need a drum kit and fucking amps. So it's basically, if you're a 4 or 5 piece band on tour, you can see why this, the £7 profit that we made is going to zero quite quickly if you're a band. And I think, let's not forget, this is also in the UK. It's not us like crossing borders and stuff. I just think it's, the touring landscape is brutal. But having said that, for us, it's super fucking exciting because we feel like that it certainly feels like we'll sell more tickets next time. I think I don't want to sound cocky, but we know that people enjoyed the tour. We could see it in their faces, and we got the feedback straight after, and we're going to do bigger and better next time. We've already got some fucking amazing plans in place, which we'll start to reveal, no doubt. And yeah, fucking bring it on. I want to go on tour for fucking ever. I love it.
I want to go on tour for one night spells at a time. Get absolutely ruined and go home to my family and cry about it for a couple of months.
I think the key thing we need to factor in is a Gav nap in the middle of the day and me getting food straight after the fucking show. As soon as I come off stage, there is something to just shovel into my mouth. And then you get a nap. That's our only requirements.
Yes, that works. That works for me. Yeah, I mean, I hope the people that listen to this, especially the band members that listen to this, know what we're all about, and this is not a Gav and James going, ta-da, look at us, how easy is touring, you just go into your first one and make money. We know exactly what this is. This is more, we are coming from, we have an opportunity. Do you think you're just going to contact Lewis Brews or Pins and Knuckles, be like, here mate, sort us out with a deal? The answer is no, obviously. We've got existing relationships with them. James sorted out a ton of beer and cider that we took into her. He saved us cost that. Aye, we get it. We're not trying to be cocky about this. In fact, the opposite. We're saying how much we appreciate the fact we're out and such a fucking great experience. So thank you everyone who turned out, and a big thanks again, once again, to Pins and Knuckles. Cannot say enough good things about those guys. Those guys are now who produce our merchandise, so the stuff you see is always quality. And our good man Luke from Lewis Brews. I fucked up last week, and you're fucking useless again. But you don't know it's pod 15. You don't know it's pod 15 after 69 listens. You let me say pod 10 and just nod along like a fucking dog.
I think you're angry with yourself, to be honest.
I'm angry with myself. The most successful pod we've ever done by a fucking country mile, and I screwed up his pod 10. So I said I'd make it up from. I'd make up. It's not pod 10. It's pod 15. That's how generous that guy is. 15% off his orders, not 10%. Go and show him that people still listening to other episodes that it's not kneecap. Go there and buy his sauces. I said the last time I would list off 5 sauces which are for people who don't like spice. Maybe you've been listening to these ad reads for a year and like, aye, very good Gav, but I don't like spice, so you're never going to change that no matter how enthusiastic you get about it. Winnie the Loo, jalapeno honey. If you can do any jalapeno jam for Tesco or Asda, it's as hot as that, i.e. not just a hint of jalapeno in it. Beautiful. Saltburn barbecue bathwater. Barbecue sauce. Slap and Pickle has one for the top of beef burgers. Beautiful. No spice. Piper peri lemon herb. I would say it's got zero spice in it, but someone who does like spice say it's got some, but no hotter than a mild or medium Nando's. Again, not one that's going to burn the mouth off you. And then finally, he's Almost Famous. Now, I checked the site, 'cause I made this list before I went to the site. Those last 3 are currently sold out, and almost everything on his site is sold out. He's selling everything he makes. It's selling, and he's restocking, and he seems to be restocking sauces at a rapid rate. And you go back and they're sold out again. So brilliant! I'm sure it's all down to this podcast. And keep it up, everyone. Keep going that way. With pod 15, take what you can get of those sauces. They do tend to show back up. The Slap and Pickle one he's done a couple of times. I'm sure that Piper peri peri one will also show back up. If you can get your hands on those ones and you want to try something that isn't spicy, then those are the ones for you. Anything to add to those ones that maybe don't have a nip in them, James?
I really like. I fucking can't remember the name. You think I might have prepared? I actually went away for the weekend with some friends this weekend, and I took 2 bottles of hot sauce with me, which we all had on our barbecue. Lovely. And one of my friends, unbeknownst to me, brought with them a bottle of the 2 Promoters 1 pod sauce, which I've run out of, so I was quite excited to get stuck into that. But yeah,
I have one bottle left in it that I'm just now checking. I'm not opening. It's just sitting there. I'm not opening the 2 Promoters because it's sold out, and I don't know if he's doing another batch of that, or if he does, it'll probably take a wee while to get to. And I'm just it's not going away, no chance. So it's just sitting there sealed for me to admire until we get another batch of that. So go. What brilliant support from the very start, day 1 sponsor from the very start, then joined us on the tour, still with us now. Keep up the good work, Luke, and everyone keep showing us your hauls of the hot sauces. Some questions, James?
Let's fucking do it. Mark Tilley says, if a band storms off in a huff 2 or 3 songs into a set for whatever reason, would they still get paid? Seems unfair if they do.
Fuck, 100%. Oh, yes. I mean, that's just the way yes, they will get paid. From my point of view, they likely have already been paid, so the money is already with them. We had me and the guy Mark who put on our show in Glasgow had Nails play the day before Damnation, the infamous Glasgow Nails set, where they played for 10 or 15 minutes when the band was in complete chaos and stormed off the stage, and the singer basically told everyone, all merch is a £5, that's us, we're done. And everyone went and grabbed themselves a long sleeve for a £5. Now, they were paid, and there was never any discussion, really. I mean, you can go back to the agent, but this is a shit show. I mean, go back to I think there's a question here about contracts. Go back to that episode and listen. They're protected in so many ways. Like, they've got a clause in their contract that says, however they present their show, in any way they want to present it, they're still due 100% of their fee. So if they go up and they fart into the mic, legally they could say in their contract, well, that's what we are. That's what my performance is tonight. So pay me my money. And now you're going to not book that band again. You are maybe going to have a bit of a discussion with the agency and the manager, and you're going to want some assurances next case. You're going to have fans saying to you they've been shortchanged, they're going to come to the promoter. So it's not a good situation to be in. Fortunately, it hasn't really happened at Damnation. I mean, we've had the same sound issues you get at every festival. We've had the fear of like an electric wizard in a bath going to have one of the sets that they've had elsewhere, which is just a bit of a clusterfuck. Damnation, Touchwood, has so far avoided those sets. But, aye, try to get money back for these agencies and that is fucking nigh on impossible once I've got it. Maybe you feel differently, James, because you guys pay afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, often bands are late, right? So they often have travel issues. I've never ever considered asking them to pay less. I think if a headliner stormed off 2 or 3 songs into a set, there'd definitely be at the very least a conversation. I mean, you've got sort of a public safety issue on your hands if, like your main Saturday night headliner storms off. People will be quite pissed off. It doesn't matter where it is. It's a bit dangerous. So I don't know. I mean, those fucking shit contracts that we talked about aren't going to help us, are they? Let's face it. They're not going to. The band are just safe in that. So in reality, it's likely that the band will get paid. And like you say, you've already paid them in full. I've already paid 50% up front. So it's it's a bit tricky. And so the next question, which kind of follows on contracts, is from John Veer. It's a multi-part question. He says, please indulge him. So when you book a band, do you ever have to provide a deposit to secure the booking? So yes, 1 month in advance normally, for me. That's what my offers say, 1 month in advance. Some agents ask for earlier, and I say no. But for a big band, I wouldn't make that a deal breaker. If they want money earlier than that, then I guess fine.
Yeah, and what you mean by 1 month in advance? 1 month in advance of the show date?
Yeah.
So not 1 month in advance of them confirming or money up front or something like that, even though some agencies you don't work with that often might try that. I'll put a wee note at the top of this. Anyone who wants a bit of a contracts recap and anyone who wants to know a lot more about it, like an hour's conversation about it, well, there's an episode a month ago called Contracts, of that contract, so you can go back and hear that. It's a bit of a recap of it.
Yeah, it's a good episode. That I was not really up for that one, but I thought it went really well, if I do say so myself. And there's definitely some interesting stuff in there, so if you haven't listened, please do. His second question is, if a band pulls out, are they responsible for refunding any deposits and or compensating your event in any way for dropping out?
So it's supposed to be that you get all your money back because they're not playing and they have pulled out, you haven't. Again, back to the contracts, they give you 1,000 reasons why they can pull out. One of the reasons is it's fucking ridiculous, is it's more than 30 days away from, so they don't even need a reason. It's just it's 31 days to your event, so we can legally pull out and we don't even need to tell you why. So if they do that, they are supposed to pay you all the money back. I've only had one situation where it was decapitated. The flight crashed and they couldn't, not in England, somewhere else, and they were in no headspace to come to England, and I'd already paid either the 50% of the fee or the full fee. They sent it back, but I get hit with the bank charges in both directions. So whatever that was, it was a chunky fee of some percentage each way, which are a bit like, again, the promoter's one getting stung because their contract will say that you're hit for the bank fee. So if you are saying, I don't know, say we're getting paid $6,000, for example, and I get 5,400 back, I need to swallow the £600 because Decapitated didn't come to play my festival. So it's not ideal, but yeah, we got the money back.
Yeah, and look at our sort of small independent level, there's definitely never any compensation coming in the direction of the festival. I don't know, when you talk about, you brought up the other day, Man of War cancelling Hellfest. Who knows what that sort of thing means? If Metallica just don't turn up to Download one year, I don't know if there's a compensation. Maybe. But certainly not for events of our size. But yeah, I mean, the agents are usually quite on it with deposits. If the band pulls out and you've paid a deposit, they'll send it back. So yeah, that's a pretty simple one. And then part 3 of the question is: in the unlikely event that an event is cancelled, is there any obligation to still pay the booked artists? I mean, what's this guy's name? John. You need to go and listen to the contracts episode, John. Come on. But fuck yeah, if the contract will say that you have to pay in full, and I know,
John, just for a snippet of James's. If James's festival is 7 foot underwater, it's not deemed an act of God, and he still needs to pay all the bands. So that's how ridiculous the contract is.
yeah, and as we know, festivals talk to each other. So I've had some people I know really well who've gone bust in festival land, and the agents, most agents, are just like fucking rabid dogs trying to get their money as quick as they can. I get on very well with a lot of agents. I do find some of them, not all of them, some of them have a very short-term view of festivals. It's just like, gimme. I don't fucking care I don't care how long you survive. I'm going to take everything I can get from you now. I'm going to rinse you for every 10 grand I can. And ultimately it's up to you to survive. They're not here to worry about that. And so, yeah, booking agents will often enforce the contracts on cancelled events. Not in all cases, though.
Okay. Well, there's a snippet of a recap of that episode. Go back, have a listen. Anyone else who wants to, that's properly into the clauses of a contract and some of the ridiculous things that promoters are asked to provide, including signing contracts that are addressed to the wrong people in the wrong country. So, go back, have that a listen. Daniel Hughes, question 1. What is it with the fucking multi-parters with this one? Question 1. You both had jobs before. What skills do you still use from them? Mr. Accountant, you're fucking useless with numbers. I'm surprised you even were an accountant.
Mate, I am very good with numbers when I choose to be. I just
you switch that bit of your brain on.
I just allow others to do it for me where possible. So I trained at like a really big firm. They properly train you, not just in accountancy, just in fucking everything. They train you in PowerPoint presentations and spreadsheets and social skills and fucking all sorts. You spend your life training basically. So loads and loads of what I do now is skills from that job. I mean, spreadsheets is the number one, definitely. My entire fucking work life is organised through a series of spreadsheets, and it makes life a lot easier to fucking deal with. I'm pretty good with numbers. I was an auditor, and what that means is you check, you're checking for errors or checking to make sure that there won't be errors in the future. Like, what processes have you got in place to ensure that you don't fuck things up? And one of the things that businesses are shit at is chasing their money and realising that they're still owed money from people. You forgot they haven't paid their invoice. Have you chased your invoice? Have the ticket companies actually paid you in full, or are you just believing them that they can be trusted? So there's a bunch of stuff around auditing which has saved us a lot of money over the years at Trees and ATG. But I think the best skill you can have is social skills, like fucking interacting with people and negotiating with people and networking. And the job I did, people think about accountancy in a weird way, like it's people sat in a room on their own on a computer. But the job I did was a very, very social job. And I definitely think I hated it, but it taught me so much and has been a big reason for why I've been successful, I think.
Yeah. I mean, likewise, the social. I mean, journalism is that interacting with people, often in fucking the very worst circumstances. The worst day of their life is the day that I show up at the front door. So dealing with people in really rough and difficult circumstances and keeping your composure and having a manner about you, I suppose, that's human, which is what helped me at the time and what I try to keep through the way I deal with people in the music business as well. Everything. I mean, the obvious ones are writing. Everything that's written, everything you read that's written, by damnation, the way you see it posted on socials, is me that writes that. I've got a different style to the way other festivals present their events, and I think, and maybe me being arrogant, I think I've seen a change especially at a level with other festivals that have been a wee bit more human and direct. Possibly as a result of the way that Damnation deals with there, because you get something like the Damnation Forum, it's got no right to be as big and as busy as it is compared to festivals that are 2, 3, 4 times the size of us. So I've taken that from my journalism days and applied it to Damnation. I sometimes have to check myself when I'm dealing with some of the idiotic behaviours that are involved in this industry. I mean, you're chatting in the door one day of a family that's lost a wee girl in a car crash, and you're like, I respected exactly what that meant and how difficult that was for that family, and then for me to make sure that I was doing justice to what they told me and presenting that story, to then go and deal with somebody measuring a logo for a fucking black metal band that largely no one in the world's ever heard of out with their niche, and making that something you're going to get in a phone call and scream about. I sometimes need to check myself, like, I get the context, you know what I mean? It's like, to me, this is completely fucking farcical, but maybe to someone who's brought up in this world or who has a boss that's going to make this important to them, this is as important. And sometimes I just like, this is a fuck. And also, I speak about the arrogance that's involved in this, people doing a job which, don't get me wrong, this is stressful, people's livelihoods are on the line, but we are booking bands to play music to entertain people. We are not nurses, cops, firefighters. We're doing a job that if it stopped tomorrow, the world would keep spinning. And I think sometimes people in this music industry would do well to remember that, because they do talk to you sometimes like they are curing cancer, and you're like, mate, calm down, you're booking a Norwegian black metal band. So there's a bit of that, a bit of humility, I suppose, which I've taken into this job, which helps, because you could get tied up in the, oh my god, it's also £1 million festival and I'm going to lose my house and my cars if I don't. I said cars, I don't have cars, I've got one.
Sure.
Kelly's got a nice car, I've got a shit car. We're going to lose the house and cars and the private swimming pool and the saunas if this doesn't go well. So that's what I think I've taken from that, Daniel.
Good. Okay, part 2 of Daniel's question, which makes me think I would quite like to do a more fun Q&A soon. It feels like
you put these questions in, you mad goose.
We've been in Heavy Town recently, so this is a little fun question from Daniel to finish us off today. If you could replace someone from any band in history, who would it be and why? Assume you have their skill at whatever they do.
Well, I know you've thought about this and I haven't, so James, give me what you would do, mate.
Well, I have thought about this. You're correct, Gav. I wanted to choose someone who was a fucking, like, an amazing musician that looked like they're having a fucking great time and was also cool as fuck. So my initial go-to was Jimmy Page. I'm not going to choose Jimmy Page because I can't be bothered with all the... I feel there's some problematic stuff around Jimmy Page and, the age of his girlfriends. So it's not going to be Jimmy Page. I'm going to go for Josh Homme. Because he's the fucking coolest fucking dude in the fucking world.
He's an arrogant twat.
Amazing. He's fucking amazing songwriter. Amazing on guitar. He's just amazing at everything. It looks like a lot of fun. You'd be an arrogant bellend if you were Josh Homme.
He's fucking, mate, the man has never smiled. Mate, what do you want to be? Do you want to be the man who's never smiled?
Mate, he's always fucking smiling. He's having a lovely time. He is having a lovely time. Honestly, I've seen 2 of the best shows I've ever seen was them. Not the fucking download one, and they're so locked in and tight and fucking jamming and just loving life. But they've also got songs, and he's cool as fuck. That's my answer.
Okay. I mean, I'm thinking this one on the spot. I mean, I would be Kurt Cobain and stay alive. Maybe no shoot myself and no take the drugs or as many drugs and go and belt out Nirvana hits. I think that would be, I mean, if I had his voice, I think that would be pretty good. You know what, I think if I was in a band, I would love that. I suppose Territorial Pissings is a proper screamer, isn't it? And get it, because I would quite like to be, not in a death metal band or something, but like some sort of screamo, hardcore, Dillinger Escape Plan style band. But I don't know if that would be just as much fun as being Kurt Cobain, because he was already headlining Reading at the time and Dillinger Escape Plan aren't. So I'm going to go, off the top of my head, Kurt Cobain and not shoot myself.
Good. Fuck it up. Kurt Cobain and not shoot myself.
Kurt Cobain and not shit
I mean,
myself.
it is an interesting thing to think about what Kurt Cobain would have done. Would he have had a career like a Bowie or a fucking Elton John or a Paul McCartney? Would he have like gone on and on and on and done loads of solo stuff and been quite eclectic? It's nice to think that he would have done that sort of Paul McCartney thing, but I don't know.
I mean, so the last thing it recorded that would be "You Know You're Right." I mean, "You Know You're Right's" an absolute fucking banger.
Yeah,
so it wasn't.
Although it's not breaking any new ground for Nirvana.
No, but that's fine. I mean, it's not like the window that Nirvana were here wasn't that wide.
No.
So they still. I mean, we could have done another album of what they were doing, and if they went on for that, then fair enough. But the window was quite. It was quite a short time that they exploded, and then he was away.
Yeah, and they had a lovely progression over their career where you could feel like there was definitely more to come, different stuff to come, but you never really know. Most bands just eventually disappoint you, don't they, and become
They're like the Mars Volta.
No, not like the Mars Volta.
Fuck off, mate, you're such a mark, man. You're such a mark. Fucking some elevator music, you're still trying to get 10 out of 10. Anyway, talking of real heroes, I saw merch. I said when we started this sponsorship, I was trying to get them to 100 orders using Pod 10, the correct use of Pod 10. They have 90 odd now. So by the time this pod comes out tomorrow, let's get them over the line of the 100 orders. That would be a fantastic little target to hit. Now you're probably thinking, Gav, why are you only giving the sponsor slots to your pals? I mean, you've basically built Lou's Brews. You sold out every single sauce he's got. Now you've got ISO merch doing 100 orders just with this pod code. Why can't we get a chance to be sponsors of the pod? We can allow other people to get involved, can't we, James?
We can. We'd love other people to get involved.
So if you are a company and you would like to be very successful too, then you can get us in touch with us. Drop us a message through some avenue, the Facebook page or the Instagram, and we will have a chat about it. I saw merch though. They have, I'm thinking, what's the next thing? Enhanced range. They have a new enhanced range, which basically means the t-shirts you normally see, the standard ones, but with something a bit different, like tie-dye, stonewash, unusual fits. So I had to click through and looked at some of their range. They have a women's mesh ghost crop top. They have a Britney Spears green retro text top, and they've got an AC/DC sort of tank vest. And you're probably it's all very well you, Gav, sitting in the east wing of your palace and telling us about going and getting this expensive ass clothing. No, it's all still $18.99. Even the limited edition fucking weird fits. And I know, like, as soon as you try to move away from the standard black or grey t-shirt you get, no matter what the blank is, the prices get stupid. So how they've managed to keep these at 18, 19 quid a pop for these garments, I have no idea. Use Pod 10, get another few quid off it. By the time it's delivered, under 20 quid. Get us over 100 orders.
Lovely stuff. Amazing. You just reminded me something. Have you finished talking about ISOR?
Yes.
Firstly, I should say it's spelled EYESORE, ISOR merch.
Yes.
You just reminded me that someone sent me something which I just wanted to quickly mention on the pod. So Adam from Party FC. So basically they're like a football gift business. So my freebies have moved on from band merch, mate. And fucking check this out. Adam sent me for my boy Kit. He sent me a fucking 1990s Man United kit. So before you slag him off, give me a second. So basically, he sent me not only that, he sent me a Juventus top with Cristiano Ronaldo on the back and some fucking. This is not for me. This is for my son. Football cards, fucking Marcus Rashford book, boo, and a bunch of other stuff. Cool as fuck. So I said to him, I would just give him a shout out. Adam from Party FC. You should check him out on Instagram. They're cool as fuck. Adam, if you want to be our new sponsor, let's fucking have a chat, because I was never more excited. And Gav, you don't really like football, do you, Gav?
Don't get fucking wide, right? Listen to me. We've just had a lot. So is this pod related? Does this guy listen to the pod?
Yeah.
Right, so do we not just have the conversation for the last 2 weeks in a row that every time I get given something, you get gifted it as well? It's like it has to be coming to us. How is it that Party FC send you shit and don't send me any retro Celtic tops?
Mate, I feel like Adam is listening to this now, and he's gonna.
Adam, come on, play the game, mate. Play the game. If James is getting dragged into Sunlight box set, I need some Celtic retro tops. My son is also, both of us will fit in a medium or large. Thank you very much, Adam. Appreciate that.
Lovely stuff. Seriously though, thanks, Adam. Okay, on the record?
Yes, so, on the record. What have you got for us, James?
So look, I did listen to Oryx, and I thought they were fucking great. I listened to their album Primordial Sky, which is from 2024. Bit of a shame that I missed that at the time, because it is right up my street. So the song I'm going to choose is the title track of that album, Primordial Sky. It's kind of got, it's got deathy vocals, death metal vocals. It's kind of doom sludge, really. Long instrumental proggy sections. So for me, what's not to love about that? And actually, everything I just said could describe a band that played at Damnation last year, and that band is Ahab. So if you are a fan of Ahab, then I would really recommend you check out Oryx, because they are very, very good. And Oryx are playing the UK's third best metal festival. Sorry, let me restate that. The UK's third best rock and metal festival. Damnation. Get your tickets now.
Okay, and now what I'm looking forward to is when someone has the gall to say, "Did you hear James's recommendation?" Mate, I'm listening to it for the first time going, this could not be more James Scarlett, this tune, if it tried. Then listen, 2 weeks going, James, you love this band. You love this band. I ain't to bother, Gavin. I'll get to it like a fucking pesky fly at your ear. And then here you're recommending it back to my fan base at my festival.
Well, look, I did what you asked, and that wasn't me blagging it. They were my on the record.
So, I am good. Last week I went all in on my deep love for old Devil's Oldest Soul, and that's not to say that I don't like the new stuff. I haven't been there yet, and I have never struggled so much with an on the record the entire time I've done this, because my favourite track of theirs is Like It's Your Last. And then in a twist in the tale, they re-recorded Like It's Your Last year. Because I said that the mix was weird because it was like a small band debut EP, and it sounded like the vocals are some black metalist away in the forest. So they re-recorded it, and it's brilliant, right? But then the weird thing is, you're so attached, nostalgically, you're so attached to the original that even though objectively that the re-recorded one is better done, it's a better recording, I still just couldn't scratch the itch that I preferred the original. And then sitting above this was this track Hope, which is the final tune from A Fragile Hope, their masterpiece. And I couldn't scratch. I want to go with Like It's Your Last, the old version. But then my wee auntie, who's no well, her favourite track is Hope. So I'm going to go with Hope.
Okay.
And hope everyone goes and gives it a listen. It's clever. It starts. It's like gentle. It's like gentle post metal to start with, and it's got a small section in the middle where it's like twin vocalists screaming, and then it redemption's in my heart, and then it just stops, and it's got this piano outro for it. I thought in my head it was like 7 or 8 minutes long, but it's only like 4. It's Like It's Your Last. It's this long one. Absolutely love it. Love that the corner, the track between it, or before it. Absolute classic. I think the opening track's like, is it Awaiting the Floods or something like that? Again, the album's just unbelievable. I mean, the big problem I've got is if they would do A Fragile Hope in full, is I don't have a slot available that would allow them to do it in full. So we need to try and think of some alternative plan for it. But people were really chuffed to hear my love for A Devil's Oldest Soul on last week's pod. A lot of people were like, oh, absolutely brilliant, and went back to re-listen to the album. Go and do it. I think it's public knowledge that they are doing those albums again. I think I saw on their Instagram that they are repressing them and getting them done. So grab one of those when they come out. If Ed is true to his word, which I'm sure he will be, we will be getting sent them. So that'll be class as well. So that's my on the record for this week. And then maybe we'll do this for another year. I will get Like It's Your Last on there at some point too. So that is that.
Fucking great stuff, mate. Lovely.
I feel like we covered a fair bit of ground there.
Yep, we usually do. But,
yeah, we usually do. But I feel like I hit the bases there. We had our informative spreadsheet nonsense, some questions, a wee bit of music love, and hot sauce.
Yeah, happy days, mate. Looking forward to the next time.
Listen, guys, it'll be a wee bit. We're not expecting the numbers we got last week. We understand that's the middle of its own fucking mainstream media clusterfuck shitstorm. It would be pretty depressing to see it sink to below other numbers. So tell your friends to listen to this podcast. Share it. Give us a thumbs up. I mean, and you know that last week's was controversial. I've never actually seen on YouTube us with a video that said a thumbs down before. And if they have, I've never noticed. 5 thumbs downs from people who were not happy with our chat for last week. So that's when you know you're dealing with the thorny issues. 5 thumbs downs.
Fuck.
On that note, I will see you next week, sir.
Thanks, mate.